Hey guys, it's me, it's Nik the Booksmith, and thank you for coming to check out my December design team project for the Graphics Fairy. And you are watching this on her channel today. And my book is dedicated to one of my favorite poets, and you all know that I'm a huge Poe fan. But I'm also a huge Baudelaire fan, and I'm probably a huge Baudelaire fan because Baudelaire was a huge Poe fan. But Baudelaire was incredible in his own right, and I love his poetry. And he actually did a lot of translating of Poe's work into French. So because Baudelaire was French, because he was a poet, he loved Poe, this book is jam-packed with French ephemera and French references and poetry, both Baudelaire and Poe. So I hope you enjoy it. I was able to get lots of stuff from the Graphics Fairy membership site. She has like 4 different French ephemera bundles that I picked and chose from. There was a European ephemera, and it's got like lots of different European countries. And then there's one called Fall Colors that just came out like about 6 weeks ago, I guess. And I love the colors in that, so I kind of used a lot this time. So the book is pretty hefty. It is pretty sizable. It's very simple looking. It is bound in sheepskin leather. And so you can see the texture. This is real leather. So it's kind of worn and aged, and there's marks in it, but it's super soft and buttery. And there's some raised places here on the spine. And this is a true, no fluff, no muss poet's journal. This is a place to stash things that he's looking for, that he is referencing, that he is taking notes about, his own work that he's saving, all that kind of stuff. It is just a super simple looking book, especially on the outside. And you open it up, and it's got this green page that we hit first. And there is a portrait of Charles. And this is done on one of those fall color ephemera pages. And I was able to Photoshop this frame and his portrait onto the squirrels. Of course, there's squirrels. And I've taken some pages and made like little sewn pockets out of them, and this is just a little photographer's advertisement in French that I kind of stuck in there. Here's one of the first of the Baudelaire poems. This is a real postcard from France. It's even written on in the back, and it's well over 100 years old, probably more like 125, 30 years old. I'm sacrificing it, and it's going in here because it just fit so well. It's just gorgeous. So it's going in there. You see more squirrels there. You will also see old book pages. Here's some more. This has to do with some Shakespeare and some other writings. And there is another poem there. Yeah, this book is called The American Scholar. And even though Baudelaire was not American, Poe was. So, yeah, I thought it fit. There is also pages from a book of famous writings, and those are sprinkled throughout. There is another poem. A page on Shakespeare and some of his writings. And this page is a conglomeration strips of some of my marbled papers, some offcuts. And I had in my mind that maybe Baudelaire was trying to choose what kind of end paper he wanted for his first book when it was published. Here is our first little raggedy that I've added into this book. It's got a vintage Edgar Allan Poe part of a dust jacket, and then just some other random things. So just kind of, this book is a mess. It's a mess. This is also something that I got at the Graphics Fairy Design site. She has some brushes that are like script brushes that you can use in Photoshop. And so I used those to have this poem printed on this little half page. And of course there's ledger. Here is a receipt also from the Graphics Fairy, and I printed it on some special paper. There will be a YouTube video about this and what this paper is very soon. I've done a little bit of sewing on the edges. This is part of a very ancient ledger that Jibbid sent me. Thank you, Jibbid. Oh, this is a Edgar Allan Poe book, part of that page. I did some digital stamping over here as a little ink pen. And this is some sheet music from the turn of the last century. Here is just a nice big, like just a big pocket that you could take in, out. You could glue it in. You could, you know, whatever you want to do. There's the top of that page. This is also a pocket. This is some of the artwork that was done for Charles Baudelaire and his book that that he did publish, and it's kind of morbid, but if you read, you'll have to read the poem. You have to read all the poetry and you understand. This is also from the Graphics Fairy, some of her beautiful French, like it's like a postcard, but I added the address, the Paris address inside. And there is the title page to the, oh, you French people, I'm going to butcher this. Fleur de mal. Fleur de mal. Fleur de mal. Anyway, it's got a lot of his writing on it where he was critiquing this page. Anyway, so that went in there. And here is another raggedy that I have placed in here. Part of that Poe dust jacket again. Another poem here. And some extremely old ledger paper, about 140-year-old ledger paper. Some more book pages. Here is another graphic from the Graphics Fairy, and I added the this address to the middle, and I just backed it on some tea stain paper with some French script on it. Ooh. And I just sewed a little piece of fabric onto the edge, a little tab of some sort. There's another book page. Just kind of a little mini Franken page there. Here's another pocket with another of the graphics from the Paris, one of the Paris Ephemera bundles at the Graphics Fairy. And a raven, of course. No Ode to Poe or Baudelaire would be complete without a raven. Another one of those old ledger pages. And another poem. Like I said, some of these are Baudelaire, some of these are Poe. So here is just a piece of one of those quote out of the quote book, out of the quotations book that I've sewn onto there. Here is a page from the Edgar Allan Poe book. Here's my squirrels again. And this is the end paper he chose. This is the marble paper he chose. I think he chose wisely. This is another raggedy of sorts. It's kind of a fold, and it's got places that things could be tucked in. And then on the front, there's a little pocket here with a just a little advertisement that I stuck in there. But it's just got some textiles sewn to it and some hand marbled paper to the back. And this is a page from the Shakespeare. And here we are to the back of the page, and Charles Baudelaire shoved a piece in here where he was published in this book, and so I just kind of put these pages in the back of the book. So there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot of keepsakes and memorabilia and stuff kind of shoved everywhere, but the book itself is very simple. The sheepskin is buttery and lush, and well, it's leather. It's wonderful, right? But very simple nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed this little book and the little foray into Charles Baudelaire. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. He's pretty cool. And yeah, thanks so much. I'll put all the pertinent details in the description box below about the Graphics Fairy and her membership site if you want to check that out. And I will catch you guys next month with the next design team project for January. Okay, bye guys.